day, my fellow warriors of life. My name is Rollo Descendant. Hey! If you're here looking for a review about Encanto, you'd better move along.
Everybody move!
Because today, I'll actually be analyzing a few parts of the story. While I certainly have my thoughts about the quality of the film, we'll be discussing how I actually believe Mirabel has a gift. Before I go any further, I must warn you that this requires me to reveal spoilers and to talk heavily about the story. Okay, so Encanto is a story about a woman who received a magic candle after being forced from her home and witnessing the death of her husband. The candle builds her and her 3 babies a refuge, a living house. No, not the monster house, but a charming casita, which seems to be a character of its own. While in the theater, my brother leaned into me from the right and said, "The house is going to be my favorite character. I can already tell." When all the children of the Madrigal family reached a certain age, the candle would create a magic door for them to open, and they would get a magical gift. In the beginning, Mirabel sings about all the gifts that were given to her family. For example, her mother can heal people with the food she makes, and her sister Luisa has unlimited strength. Isabella can grow plants at her will, and is considered pure perfection. When she first appeared on screen, a friend sitting to my left leaned in and said, "That's my future wife." We then learned that Mirabel was not given any magical gift, which causes a lot of issues between her and her abuela, and some other family members. Mirabel feels worthless and useless. She watches her family serving the community, and wishes more than anything she could be a part of this magical family. Now, here's where I say that Mirabel actually had a gift all along. What we learned through the movie, on the night of Mirabel's ceremony, she is led to an amorphous door which is supposed to solidify with her visage on the exterior, and a place which represents her gift. But when she touches the door handle, the door fades away as if Thanos snapped it out of reality. Also, I've never even seen the Avengers movie. Look at what meme culture has done to me! What I think happened was when Mirabel touched the door, the candle recognized she was already so full of talent, it didn't need to give her an extra boost with magic. Mirabel is so anxious to please and serve other people that she has the creativity and ingenuity to come up with ways to solve the problem. What is her talent? Mirabel has the ability to read people and listen. She is able to instinctively see what they need and give them the support or push to move forward through difficult things. This is very clearly illustrated in the beginning when her cousin Antonio is hiding under the bed. He is nervous about his upcoming ceremony. He's feeling the pressure to make his family proud, and also not being a magic reject like Mirabel. Mirabel feels like trash throughout the movie, but puts her own feelings aside to help Antonio through the experience. She doesn't try to coax him out from under the bed, but joins him at his level. This is symbolic of how she's ready to listen and understand him. She's not there to provide her version of a solution, but she is there to be his support. Mirabel also clearly has a talent for embroidery and knitting. After extending her love for her cousin, she uses her hands-on ability to cheer him up by giving him a doll she made herself. This gift has a lot of meaning. She considered what her cousin loves, which is animals, implemented effort, and then used it to uplift him when he was feeling down. Another moment expressing the family's need of Mirabel's support is when Antonio is about to walk up the stairs for his ceremony. With the countless eyes upon him, his nerves strain from the expectations and pressure leading him to extend his hand. He says to Mirabel, I think another indication of Mirabel being truly special is how the casita seems to be particularly fond of her. While it assists the entire family, we see only Mirabel actively communicating with it and even asking it questions. This may be in lieu of a cute animal side character, or so we can more readily explain Mirabel reasoning her thoughts aloud. But I'm more inclined to believe that the casita and the candle value Mirabel's talent above the rest. As Mirabel embarks on her spiritual journey to discover why the magic was beginning to fade and the casita was cracking apart, she used her gift to discover that many of her family members were bearing the weight of expectations that come from having magic. While Mirabel felt worthless because she didn't have one, Isabella, Luisa, and Bruno felt worthless because they had magic. Their self-worth had become tied to being successful in their magic. They now felt like they weren't allowed to fail or make mistakes because they're supposed to be the examples the community looks up to. Bruno, who can see visions of the future, felt like a failure because his predictions of misfortune would come true, and people began to associate him as the reason the misfortunes happened, rather than a messenger. This is a classic killing the messenger situation.
Da-da-da-da-da. I am your singing telegram.
So, after a prediction so terrible, Bruno disappeared and went into hiding in shame. Isabella nearly goes through a marriage she doesn't even want in order to make the family proud. Dolores, in love with the man, says nothing for the same reason. Tia Pepa consistently struggles to maintain the vision of perfection. Her mood affects the weather, and when she is upset, gloom clouds surround her. She cannot even healthily allow her emotions to be felt because everyone will know. She has had to suppress her real feelings her whole life. Yes, Mirabel uncovers a huge familial rift being torn between everyone, caused by the expectations of what the family should be from the abuela. It is only through Mirabel using her gift of connecting with others that they're able to dig to the root of the problem to build a stronger foundation for the family relationships to thrive. I really wanted to talk about this because I think Encanto shares a lot of really important messages not common in movies, or many stories for that matter. The more obvious message is how it's important not to place self-worth on talents or anything that isn't inherent in you. It's important we don't put so much pressure on people because of their talents or their perceived lack of them. Humans are quick to label each other and categorize them by one obvious trait. Every human being has so much more depth to them than that. Our role should be to encourage people to improve and expand their abilities the best they can, but most importantly, our role is to be like Mirabel, where we are there for support during their failures and successes, and to love unconditionally regardless of unfavorable outcomes. But the subtle message is what adhered to me the most, if you are to believe Mirabel has a gift. The fact that every human being has a talent that's born in them. Of course, you have to nurture them and allow them to grow, but it's true. The sad part is, I think most talents are not even recognized as such because they aren't as visible. Growing up, I felt a lot like Mirabel. I encountered lots of friends, family, and peers with very visible gifts, which are given lots of praise and accolades. I've met extremely talented singers, musicians, bakers, chemists, lawyers, pilots, writers, artists, dancers, math brains, athletes, and all sorts of people who rightly earned awards and have blessed their respective communities. It was easy to think these people were the cream of the crop, and that someone like me wasn't worth anything. But I've also met a lot of people who have quieter talents that sadly don't get recognized as such. I've had teachers who made dull topics a total blast. I've had family members and friends who were able to cheer me up despite depressive episodes. My mother thinks of people before herself and will drop everything at a moment's notice to ease other people's burdens. There are people who are great with children, people great with animals, and great with so many invisible things. These are people who are just as valuable and important to communities as those with the louder, more visible talents. So there you have it. Mirabel is the glue that holds the family together. After the family rebuilds the casita with the help of the village, the casita rightly puts Mirabel's image on the front entrance door. Her talent is what allows all the other gifts to thrive. I hope you have enjoyed this lengthy video essay. Thank you for being a part of my quest to highlight wholesome content. But now that this adventure has finished, it is time for you to find your own.